I've been using this camera for a while now to film some of my best shots in the locations I would never imagine I could fly. And honestly, it's one of the few gadgets I actually keep in my pocket. Not because it's perfect or something, because it's just so easy to use, and all the shots are completely hands-free. No controllers, no setup, just turn it on and go. But the real question is it actually worth it? This is HoverAir X1 Pro Max, and this video I will show you how it really performs, where it shines, where it fails. You will also see the best ways to use this drone, even in the most touristic places in the world. How to actually get those shots without repeating takes again and again, and also how to avoid cutting your fingers in case something is not going well. Because yes, safety is still important even with a small drone like this. So let's start with the spec. The HoverAir X1 Pro Max is the most advanced among HoverAir drones and among any drones of this pocket type, but still it weighs only 192 grams, which is basically like your phone, and it's also almost the same size as your phone, which means it really fits into your pocket. No bag required. No special case needed if you don't want to, just grab it and go. And inside this tiny body you still get a battery that allows up to around 16 minutes of flight time. And I know, on paper that doesn't sound impressive compared to the larger drones, but here's the thing. All footage that you are seeing in this video today was shot with just one battery. Because of how efficient this drone is, because of how precise it is, you don't need to repeat shots, you don't need to fly far away. Most of the best cinematic clips are captured within seconds, and that changes everything in real-world usage. And it leads us directly to simplicity, because this drone doesn't require any remote controller. It has pre-programmed intelligent flight modes, and even if you want manual control, you can just use your phone. It takes a few seconds to turn it on, a few seconds to connect, and you're ready to fly. No calibration stress, no complicated setup, and it's also very discreet and relatively quiet. You can fly it even around 10 to 15 meters from other people, and most of them will not even notice it, which is perfect for travel, especially in crowded locations. And the drone can follow you at speeds up to 42 kilometers per hour, which is more than enough for running, cycling, even light downhill action. Now let's talk about the camera, because this is where the things get really interesting. The HoverAir X1 Pro Max features an 8K capable camera with 1 over 1.3 inch sensor, which is significantly larger than what you typically find in pocket drones. It supports 10-bit color, H-lock profile for better dynamic range and color grading, and you can switch between H.264 and H.265 codecs depending on your workflow. You can shoot both horizontal and vertical video natively, which is perfect for social media creators. There is 2x digital zoom, HDR support, and even 4K slow motion up to 120 FPS. And inside the mobile app, you can control the ISO, shutter speed, exposure value, and white balance. So you are not locked into automatic shooting and you can actually have creative control. And this combination of hardware and software make it a very powerful storytelling tool, especially for traveler content. And speaking about software, the HoverAir X1 Pro Max features more than 15 AI-powered flight modes designed for autonomous hands-free cinematography. And this is where the drone really shines, because you don't fly it like a traditional drones. You use it like a smart camera operator that follows you and frames you automatically. So let's go through the most important modes, starting with the hover mode. This is as simple as it gets. The drone just stays in one place and tracks you, acting like a floating tripod. Perfect for situations where you cannot place a tripod physically, like on a narrow street, cliff edge, or crowded square. Next is the follow mode, probably the most used one. The drone follows you from behind. And here I recommend using mid to far distance because it creates smoother motion and better composition. Avoid the high angle use unless you really need it, because catching the drone might become difficult. And when you want to land it, just place your hand underneath and it will land automatically. And yes, it actually works reliably even in tricky environments like narrow forest path. I tested in real conditions with branches, sharp turns, and changing light, and the tracking was surprisingly stable. Only one minor collision with a barely visible branch, which is honestly impressive. Check it yourself. As you can see that I'm walking now in a really tight location with a lot of trees among me, and the drone is right behind. And let's see how it's gonna follow me. Can it do it or not? Yeah, so far it's good. Yeah, we have slight climb in here.
I'm just walking and using my phone's camera, so you can also hear the drone, and you can see that it's following me. So far it's really good, I must say. It doesn't have any problems. And the corridor between the trees here is really tight. It's just like up to 1 meter wide. So I really like it. We just speed up a little bit and see how it goes. Okay, I can still hear it follows me. We just go a little bit quicker, like a little run. Good. It's right behind me. Really, really good. To be honest, I didn't expect. So, here we go. Yeah, this is pretty much straight line, but lots of trees around. Very good. Let's go further. Come on, buddy. Come on. Let's go. All right. What do we got in here? Let's go. Can you still follow me? Amazing. It can. Even if you rotate really fast, you change the direction, it can track you really good. Let's go here again. Upward. Come on. I have my running session tomorrow, so let's do some pre-warm up. That's where it's stuck. And but it wasn't broken, it just stuck in the branch. So far looks good. It says maximum power reach. So it stopped. Just press the button, follow again. There you go. Come on. Come on. Follow me. This is the real stress test for the drone. So we can actually see, go this way, go that way. This is the route specially made for the bikers, but it's actually 7 a.m. and you know that no bikers are using it so early. Good. I can still hear the drone behind me. It goes this way. Yeah, it slightly cut my finger. All right. It was good. Just one branch was like one really little branch that is stuck, and but in general, as you saw, the corridor was really, really tight. So
Next is a dolly mode, where the drone flies backward in front of you while keeping you in the frame. This is perfect for walking and talking shots, storytelling, and vlogging. And again, I recommend using flat position and a bit more distance. And when you finish recording, just stop and extend your hand. Sometimes it takes a second for the drone to recognize the landing gesture, so be patient. Next one is zoom out mode, one of the most cinematic ones, where the drone flies away from you, revealing the environment, great for bridges, cliffs, or iconic landmarks. You can choose between flat, low, and rise variations and adjust distance up to around 15 meters. And rise mode is especially beautiful because it adds vertical movement, creating that epic reveal effect. Then we have orbit mode, where the drone circles around you, keeping you perfectly in the center, which is ideal for static shots in open spaces like mountains, deserts, or fields, and you can adjust the radius depending on how wide you want the shot. Spiral mode is similar but adds vertical movements, creating a rising or descending spiral shots that looks incredibly dynamic, especially if you combine it with your own movement. Then there is dolly zoom, also known as the vertigo effect, where the drone moves backward while zooming in, creating that surreal background distortion, and it works best in vertical format for social media, especially in good lighting conditions. Bird eye mode sends the drone straight up while filming you, and you can configure altitude up to around 30 meters. Add rotation, adjust speed, and this creates dramatic top-down shots that look amazing, especially in slow motion. And quick note, the HoverAir Mother's Day sale is live. Perfect timing if you are thinking about gift. You can get up to 29% off from May 1 to May 11. Link in the description, and honestly, this kind of device is one of those gifts that people actually use on every trip and not just once. Now, coming back to the drone, you also have manual mode through the app, which gives you full control like a traditional drone with on-screen joystick or directional buttons, adjustable sensitivity and a camera tilt slider. On the screen you also get a map, home direction pointer, speed, distance and altitude, so you are always aware of your drone's position. And speaking about competitors, why is this drone better than something like DJI Neo 2 or DJI Flip? First of all, the Neo 2 has a smaller sensor, which directly impacts image quality, especially in dynamic range and low light. So footage just doesn't look as rich, and DJI Flip, while powerful, is larger and doesn't fill in all the pockets, which kind of defeats the purpose of a true pocket flying camera. And that's where HoverAir X1 Pro Max really stands out by balancing the size, simplicity, and image quality in a way that feels much more practical for everyday use. Now, let's talk about accessories, because they actually matter here. I highly recommend getting at least one extra battery and the charging hub, maybe also a 65 watts charger to speed things up. There is also the beacon accessory, which extends control range up to around 1 kilometer and can act as a remote with physical controls, which is very useful for skiing, cycling, or any action scenario where your phone is not convenient. And a compact carrying case that fits everything is also a great addition if you want to keep your setup organized. But of course, not everything is perfect. Sometimes you might forget to switch between vertical and horizontal shooting modes, which can be annoying. Dolly mode could be smoother in predicting motion. Battery charging requires the hub since there is no USB-C on the battery itself, and the range is limited to around 100 meters on iOS and realistically around 300 meters on Android. So you need to be careful, especially in areas where retrieving the drone is difficult. But honestly, these are small trade-offs compared to what you get, and even after a crash, the drone holds up really well. And the convenience of just pulling it out of your pocket and capturing something amazing in seconds is hard to beat. And for me personally, this is a drone that will stay in my pocket for every trip, every hike, every spontaneous moments, because it removes friction and lets you focus on creativity, and that's the whole point. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I have more coming soon, so just stay tuned and see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.